All right, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm a little bit late with this video this week. Usually I'm going to try to have this video out by Wednesday, but better late than never. This is the NCAA college football watch schedule for the week. If the only thing you care about is prospects. Again, this video I do once a week, not for everybody. Definitely does not have mainstream appeal with my audience. You have to be somebody who's pretty sick to be into this stuff. You got to be down with the sickness that is monitoring top college prospects during the season, not after the season when you're getting ready for the draft, not during the draft, but during the actual season. That takes a certain level of, I don't even know what you would call it, but you got to be very into it. But I like to do this video every week for the people who get something out of it. So let's talk about week 2 of NCAA college football. And it's not a very good week. I'm going to say that right now. It's not a very good week because every good team has a cupcake. So there aren't really any good games here. There aren't really any games between two good teams. There's not much potential for any kind of an upset. Most of these games are probably going to be decided by 30, 40 points. I did the best that I could, but at the end of the day, what we're really looking at here is the teams that have all the top prospects getting to beat up on very low-level programs this week. So if you're expecting anything more than that, you're not going to get it. But technically, it starts today, this afternoon, Friday. I know you're going to be mostly watching the Chargers-Chiefs, but we do have some games on tonight, and a couple of them have a little bit going on. We've got James Madison playing Louisville, and Louisville does have one wide receiver prospect that is considered to be a day 2 guy right now, Chris Bell. So that's somebody who is worth monitoring as this season goes on. This is not necessarily a complete washout game, by the way. James Madison is typically one of the best teams in their little pool. Now, when they move up and try to take on one of these Division 1 teams, even a team like Louisville, it usually doesn't go well for them, but this is not necessarily going to be a complete washout. ESPN2, 3 points here. And then we've got Western Illinois playing Northwestern a half hour later. So maybe you hate Chargers Chiefs, or maybe Chargers Chiefs gets delayed or something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you're not into that. Western Illinois versus Northwestern, you could do worse. Northwestern has a couple of guys. They've got Caleb Tiernan, the left tackle, and they've got Anto Saka, an edge rusher. I remember talking about him a little bit last year. Now he's going to be an even bigger focus for us. So that's 2 players of note. Big Ten Network, 5 points for these 2 guys. And now we get to Saturday. And again, nothing is really going to be super competitive. You've got 2 of the big boys playing at 9 a.m., but look at their playing. You've got Penn State playing FIU, Florida International. This is, I don't even know if this game has a line. If it does, it's probably Penn State by 5 touchdowns. This is an exhibition game. And for our purposes, it's not even a great one because usually in a game like this, you're playing your 4th and 5th stringers by the time you get to the 4th quarter, and you only get a limited picture of some of these players. And even when they do well, it's like, it's not that big of a deal because you did it against FIU. But Drew Allar, very intriguing quarterback. They've got 2 running backs. They've got an offensive lineman, Shelton. Denise Sutton is very interesting to me as an edge rusher. So that's 22 points right there just from that team. But again, they're getting the easy matchup this week, but catch it on the Big Ten Network if you're into watching a beatdown. Before I go any further, I want to tell you about my friends over at Sleeper. If you're not using Sleeper this year, you are missing out. Look at all the great stuff you can get up to over there. Look at all the great picks you can make. Let's make some picks for this weekend. My entry is Jahmyr Gibbs with an anytime touchdown. I think that Green Bay run defense is going to get hurt a little bit by losing Kenny Clark. I've got Malik Neighbors. I got that one on sale. He only has to get to 64 receiving yards. He could do that in one play in that Giants-Washington game that I think will be pretty high scoring. I've also got Brock Bowers over 63.5 receiving yards. Who else is Gino going to throw the ball to? And Bucky Irving with an anytime touchdown. I think that Tampa Bay Atlanta game is going to be pretty high scoring. I say he gets in the end zone. So go check out Sleeper. Use promo code SBN, and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. And the other 9 a.m. game is another similar game. San Jose State playing Texas. Texas looking to get back on track after losing week 1. And I don't need to explain why Texas's roster is loaded with prospects. We've already been over it. They've got Arch Manning, who needs to get back on track this week. They got a couple guys on the offensive line. They've got Wisner, who was good last week. They've got a couple guys on defense. I gave them 22 points in my preseason evaluation. This game's on ABC, so it's easy to find, but it's San Jose State. There's just not a lot you can say about this one, really. It's going to be a easy game for Texas. You would certainly expect. Now, maybe this game is intriguing because we want to see how Texas gets back to winning after that disappointing game last week, but there's no drama here. And even if the players play well, it's like, well, so what? So make what you can of it, but that's a 9 a.m. start over on ABC. We got two 12:30 games here. First one, this one's a little bit better, but it's still not good. We've got Oklahoma State versus Oregon at 12:30 p.m. I mean, Oklahoma State's not a complete cupcake, but they're not on the level of Oregon for sure. And Oregon, they've got plenty of fun players. I'm not super into their roster this year because, like, you've got a tight end. They've got one of the top tight ends in college football this year, Sadiq. I don't really care about tight ends that much. They've got guys on the left side of the offensive line. I'm not too into those guys right now. I want guys on the right side. I want the centers. But Hughes is a fun running back. They've got Ugalele at edge, and they've got a fun little safety, Thieneman. So CBS or Paramount Plus for that. 15 points of value from Oregon. Unfortunately, Oklahoma State doesn't really provide anything, even though they're not a terrible team. And then the other 12:30 game is going to be Troy versus Clemson. And again, Clemson's great. Clemson's got a ton of stuff. They've got Klubnik. They've got multiple tackles. They've got Williams, the big-time receiver, maybe the best receiver in college football. They've got guys on that defensive line, but it's Troy. It's a cupcake. So you're not tuning in to watch Clemson get tested like you did last week. You're tuning in to watch them try to win by 50 points. ACC Network, so it's a little bit obscure, but 23 points from Clemson's roster. It's I mean, hey, they're pretty loaded with prospects, so can't take anything away from that. Now we get to the late afternoon. It's tough sledding. 4:30 p.m. Ball State versus Auburn. I like Auburn's prospects this year. I really like Singleton. I like Connor Liu, the center. Chaplin's good, but he's a left tackle. I don't know how interested I am in that. And Falk on the defensive line could be a good fit for a McDonald defense. It's ESPNU, 15 points of value from Auburn, but again, Ball State just isn't going to provide that much. You need something to push back at some point. And then the other late afternoon game, UL Monroe versus Alabama. Again, it's Alabama. They're, I think, the best prospect-laden team out there, objectively speaking, this year. But what are we doing here? What are we doing with this? UL Monroe, they're going to try to not lose by 60, and you know Alabama's mad. Now, this game does carry some intriguing elements because Alabama got embarrassed last week, and we want to see how they respond. But again, there's no drama. Also, Jaden Roberts and Keenan III are both out, and those are two guys that I'm really intrigued by. So you've even within a team that is this loaded, you've already kind of chopped the legs out from underneath it by saying that two of the guys that I really like on that team, the right guard and the nose tackle, are not going to play. So 31 points of value, although you should subtract a little bit from that. SEC Network, I guess you might get something out of this one. And then we get to the evening, and there's not a lot going on here. 7:15 p.m., Stanford plays BYU. BYU has one defensive lineman that I kind of like, Keanu Tanuvasa. That's on ESPN, so it's easy to find, but it's a two-pointer, not much to say. It's the only thing that's on, though. And then 8 p.m., we have Washington. This is the one upside of Washington playing so late. They're almost always going to make this list as long as they're playing late because nothing else is on. But it's UC Davis, so it's a game that you expect them to just dominate in. You've got Denzel Boston, but what's he really going to do in a game like this? Shouldn't Washington just run the ball for 300 yards and call it good? Probably. Vicario Davis, so that's great. 8 points. I mean, it's not a bad arrangement. You've got some pretty nice prospects here, but it's UC Davis. What are you going to learn? Big Ten Network there, by the way, 8 p.m. start. And that is going to be it for the watch schedule this week. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys got. What are you guys thinking about? I will see you guys soon. Go Hawks. That is what I recommend if you are watching college football from a more agnostic standpoint, or some people call it a sports atheist, where you don't really care about teams. You just want to watch football. You just want to watch good players. That's how I would go. All right. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Go Hawks.